Nikola Jokić. We'll start with the obvious one. If someone had never watched basketball before and you showed them Nikola Jokić, they probably wouldn't guess they were looking at one of the best players in the world. Jokić doesn't have explosive speed. He doesn't jump particularly high, he's not crossing defenders over and sprinting past them, and he certainly doesn't look like the modern prototype of an NBA superstar. Yet somehow he's become one of the most dominant players of his generation. The Serbian center was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial in the second round of the 2014 NBA draft and entered the league with very little hype. Fast forward a decade and he's a multiple-time MVP, NBA champion, Finals MVP, and one of the greatest passing big men ever. The reason he succeeds is because his basketball IQ is ridiculous. Jokić sees plays before they happen. He manipulates defenses with fakes. He throws passes that shouldn't even be possible. While everyone else relies on athleticism, Jokić relies on pure genius. And somehow it works. Larry Bird. If this list was based purely on appearance, Larry Bird might be near the top. Bird never looked particularly athletic. He wasn't known for explosive dunks. He wasn't blowing past defenders. He didn't have the physique of players like Magic Johnson or Michael Jordan. Yet Bird spent 13 seasons destroying everybody. The Boston Celtics legend won 3 championships, 3 MVP awards, and made 12 All-Star teams. What's funny is that Bird often knew exactly what people thought of him. Opponents underestimated him because he looked slow. Then he'd score 40 points while talking trash the entire game. Bird's success came from elite shooting, incredible passing, rebounding instincts, and one of the highest basketball IQs ever seen. By the time he retired, he had become one of the greatest players in basketball history despite never being known for athleticism. Paul Pierce. For years, NBA fans joked that Paul Pierce looked like he was moving in slow motion. Pierce wasn't fast, he wasn't explosive, and he rarely wowed people with athletic highlights. But every season he'd somehow average over 20 points. The truth is, Pierce mastered the art of scoring. His footwork was elite, his ability to create space was elite, and his understanding of angles allowed him to get his shot whenever he wanted. Over a 19-year career, Pierce scored more than 26,000 points, won an NBA championship, earned Finals MVP honors, and became one of the greatest Celtics ever. Not bad for someone many people considered unathletic. Kyle Anderson. Nobody embodies this list better than Kyle Anderson. His nickname is literally slow-mo, and honestly, it's perfect. Everything Anderson does looks slow. His dribble moves, his jump shot, his drives to the basket. Even his fast breaks somehow look slow. Yet defenders constantly struggle against him. The reason is simple. Anderson has mastered pace. He changes speeds better than almost anyone in basketball. Instead of trying to outrun defenders, he confuses them. Despite looking like the least athletic player on the court at times, Anderson has carved out a long NBA career as a valuable defender and playmaker. Mark Jackson. Before becoming a coach and broadcaster, Mark Jackson built one of the most successful careers by a point guard who wasn't particularly athletic. Jackson wasn't fast, he couldn't jump, he wasn't blowing by defenders, yet he played 17 seasons and retired among the all-time assist leaders. His secret was understanding basketball better than almost everyone else. He knew where teammates would be before they got there. He understood angles and he controlled the pace of games like a veteran quarterback. Sometimes basketball intelligence is more valuable than athleticism. Jackson proved that for nearly 2 decades. Andre Miller. Watching Andre Miller was like watching someone dominate a pickup game at the local gym. Nothing looked impressive. No flashy moves. No insane athleticism. No highlight dunks. Yet he consistently embarrassed younger and more athletic defenders. Miller played 17 seasons, scored over 16,000 points, and dished out nearly 9,000 assists. He survived because of his strength, patience, and basketball IQ. Many younger players learned the hard way that athleticism means nothing if you don't know how to use it. Kevin McHale. When discussing great post players, Kevin McHale deserves much more recognition. McHale wasn't an explosive athlete. He wasn't outrunning anyone. But his footwork was so incredible that defenders often looked completely helpless. the Celtics legend developed one of the deepest collections of post moves ever seen. Many former players still argue that McHale possessed the greatest low post game in NBA history. His success helped Boston win 3 championships and establish one of basketball's greatest dynasties. Dirk Nowitzki. At first glance, Dirk Nowitzki never looked like a future MVP. He wasn't exceptionally fast, he wasn't explosive, and he wasn't overpowering defenders physically. What he did have was arguably the most unstoppable signature move of the 2000s. The one-legged fadeaway. Over 21 seasons, Dirk scored more than 31,000 points, won an MVP award, and delivered one of the greatest championship runs ever in 2011. His impact on basketball was enormous. Without Dirk, modern stretch bigs might not exist. Zach Randolph. Few players looked less athletic than Zach Randolph. Randolph wasn't jumping over defenders. He wasn't sprinting coast to coast. He wasn't winning dunk contests. Instead, he bullied people. His combination of strength, touch, and footwork made him one of the toughest post scorers of his era. As the face of Memphis' grit and grind teams, Randolph helped turn the Grizzlies into a legitimate playoff threat. He lasted 17 seasons and became a 2-time All-Star, despite lacking the athleticism of most elite power forwards. Brad Miller. Brad Miller may be the least athletic 2-time All-Star ever. He looked slow. He ran awkwardly, and he rarely did anything that would appear on a highlight reel. But Miller could pass. He could shoot, and he understood the game at a very high level. The Sacramento Kings' beautiful offensive system in the early 2000s relied heavily on his intelligence and versatility. His career is another reminder that basketball skill often beats athletic ability. Kurt Rambis. During the Showtime Lakers era, stars like Magic Johnson and James Worthy got most of the attention. Then there was Kurt Rambis. With his thick glasses and awkward style of play, Rambis looked completely different from the typical NBA star. Yet he became a key contributor on 4 championship teams. His hustle, rebounding, toughness, and willingness to do the dirty work made him invaluable. Sometimes effort can overcome athletic limitations. Rambis built an entire career around that idea. Rick Barry. Modern fans don't talk enough about Rick Barry. Barry wasn't known for elite athleticism, but he was one of the most skilled players basketball has ever seen. He led the NBA in scoring, won a championship, earned Finals MVP, and became famous for his underhand free throws. His ability to score, pass, and think the game at a high level allowed him to dominate despite not being an overwhelming physical athlete. Steve Nash. We'll finish with one of the greatest examples ever. Steve Nash looked nothing like a traditional superstar. He wasn't strong, he wasn't explosive, he wasn't an elite defender, and he certainly wasn't winning athletic competitions against most NBA guards. Yet Nash became a 2-time MVP. He led some of the greatest offenses in league history. He revolutionized modern basketball with pace, spacing, and playmaking. And he did it almost entirely through skill and intelligence. His career lasted 18 seasons, and he finished as one of the greatest point guards ever. If you made it this far, comment down below who you think should have made this list.